Okay, hello folks. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is September 30, and this is Cluster API Lifecycle, Cluster API vSphere office hours. We abide by the CNCF Code of Conduct, so that means that just be kind to one another, and if you want to speak, please use the raise hand feature of Zoom, and I'll call upon you. So yeah, like I don't see anything on the agenda or news. So if if people want to take a minute or two to kind of add something, please go ahead and do that. I see Yassine typing, so we can start with that.
Yeah, so for V1 Beta 1 support, I know Gab started doing some of that work. Nadir also started creating an issue tracker for V1 Beta 1. Yeah, that is pretty much it. I know that we have some PRs that we need to take a look at specifically for the multiple disk support. I don't know if, yeah, I know that it's still open, but I don't know if Dinesh is still working on it. So yeah, probably needs, if I recall correctly, probably needs a rebase, and then we can just release that. Yeah, and as for the issue tracking V1 V1 Beta 1, we have like a few issues. The first one is like we need to refactor some of the webhooks to enable also upgrades from V1 Alpha 3. So we're gonna also like enable users that are still running on V1 A3 to upgrade to V1 Beta 1. Yeah, aside of that, we have also some bumps that we need to do for controller tools and controller runtimes. Yeah, that's pretty much it on what needs to happen for us to be able to support V1 Beta 1.
All right, does anybody have anything else to add on this topic?
I just wanted to ask how much is the effort going to take, because in other providers I do see some people are already working, but it's a lot of change, right? So what are we expecting basically, when to, I mean, by what is the deadline and when to wind it up, and how much on the work effort would this take?
So I would say that we we would be basically releasing we would be releasing CAPV V1 Beta 1 as soon as those change land in. I still need to get a sense of the multiple disk PR that was opened by some of the AWS folks. I think it's a worthwhile additional change to have. So we need to sync with them, see how much bandwidth they have for this, and yeah, like if they can, then we can just review the PR, get it merged, and start working on the webhooks. But or like ideally, we should be releasing CAPV a week after V1 Beta 1 is supported. So I know that CAPI is releasing on October 6th, maybe. So yeah, something around mid-October seems to be reasonable.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right, sorry about that. I was just taking notes. Great. I see Yassine. Hope add another topic of discussion, or at least that's what.
No, not yet. I'm gonna add a topic of discussion, but meanwhile we can go over issues and PRs.
Yeah, I was just about to say I missed that part. I'll share my screen. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. Okay, so I think we have like a bunch of issues. I'll start going through them one at a time. from the bottom. So this one seems like a V1 beta 1 tracking issue, the one that Yassine was just talking about. I think it gives a good idea around what are the list, or what is the list of tasks that we need to finish. Yassine, does it make sense for us to break this down into different issues rather than like having this one humongous issue, or has it already been done?
So I think that like Nadir filed a bunch of those, and I think they're already. So if you click on any one of any one of these, you can see that it's already like filed. So we can like what we could do is probably use this to track progress, and then we can assign some of these. What we can also do is link the multiple disk PR into this issue so that we can get like a holistic view on what is needed. So yeah, I can take an AI on editing Nadir's comment to add the link to the PR.
Thanks, Yassine.
There's also
there's
also a pull request for CAPV to be based or to support ignition instead of cloud init. And when this is merged, the currently pending pull request could be changed to automatically detect whether it's ignition or cloud init. So currently there's an additional field that would have to be set, but yeah, that could be removed. So this is pull request 1093. So I think that would be good to see, like if upstream, if the upstream pull request is merged for the API to like kind of support ignition user data instead of cloud init user data, then it would be nice if the provider would also kind of follow up quickly.
You seem good.
Yeah, so do we know if the ignition change is going to land for V1 beta 1? Because yeah, to be honest, I didn't follow through the reviews. I did take a look at the PR, but I never followed through, so I don't know if it is making it into V1 beta 1.
Yeah, it looks close to be merged somehow.
Okay, yeah, if it is making it in V1 beta 1, and there's a field as part of the contract, and there's something that the providers need to do, yeah, feel free to open an issue and we can add it to the V1 beta 1 tracker list. But I know like for at least ignition support in CAPV is going to be interesting, because we're not only relying on cloud init for user data, but we're also relying on cloud init for metadata. So all of the networking stack of CAPV is using cloud init. So there's like this aspect of user data, but we have some provider specific changes that we need to make in order to have support for it. So yeah, like if there are folks that are interested in the ignition support for CAPV, Sagar and me can probably go through like the current networking stack and see and like show what we have and what actually needs to happen. Because, for example, this PR, if I recall correctly, I think it's from Alexander. It was opened a while ago, but I don't think it accounts for networking.
Yeah, so there are two ways this could work. Either is, for example, in Flatcar, the network part from the metadata is also supported if we just start the cloud init implementation that Flatcar ships, for example. Or we could say we kind of generated an additional ignition entry here for systemd network D unit files. So both is okay. But I don't know, is it really mandatory, or just if people have static IP addresses and other stuff that's not covered by default DHCP?
So so yeah, it depends on how you do it, but as long as you're able to provide an IP an IP to the machine, that should be fine. But like we are explicitly setting the metadata part of the VM through govmami. So yeah, like for example, things like okay, you want to add some routes or you want to add some static IPs. Those kind of things are done by basically reading stuff from the CAPV API, and then it gets marshaled and transformed into a cloud init metadata format that gets set in turn into the proper key for the data source to consume. So yeah, that's the only part that worries me, is that
Okay.
it is not going to support the full API
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
CAPV.
so that's not guest info, but like cloud init entries that are added. So it's not
Yeah,
based on
so
the regular guest info variables for networking.
yeah, so in guest, like in the guest info, we are basically like we are exposing a bunch of stuff, like basically almost all of the metadata that is knobs that are provided by Cloud Init. So things like DHCP force and 6 routes, static IPs, gateways, MTUs, things like almost all of the net plan API basically.
Okay, thanks for the info.
So I think yeah, thanks, Kai and Yassine, for the discussion. So yeah, I think going back to the tracking issue, I guess all of the other issues, if I'm not wrong, are listed in the tracking issue itself. So yeah, I don't know, like, do you want me to go over them one by one? I guess some of them.
Yeah, I think like the going just over the overall issue to like we did should be enough. This is mainly like just a breakdown of what is needed, adding the types and doing the conversions and conversion webhooks and things like that. So yeah, that's I think this one has pretty much everything. Yeah, yeah, this has pretty much everything.
And I think you said you have an action item that you'll add
Yeah,
the multiple
yeah,
disks
we
PR
have to.
to this thing.
Yeah,
right?
we have to add we have to add the PR. But aside of that, like for moving to V1 beta 1, this is pretty much all of the work that it needs to happen.
Okay. I'll make sure that all of these seem like they are kind of tagged accordingly. So if people want to go ahead and pick some of them up, yeah, feel free to do that. And if there are any questions around any of them, do feel free to Slack on the channel or reach out to like Yassine or I guess the other thing that we usually do is like go over. Okay, I'm so sorry. I think there is one more that probably was not a part of the tracking issue. Aarti, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, sure. So a couple days ago, Nadir gave a walkthrough of the cluster API repo. And in that, he was just talking about the different print columns for the different resources, which is part of CAPI. And he specifically pointed out that CAPV doesn't have any print columns right now. So this is not really a part of V1 beta 1 in any way. It's just like an improvement or an enhancement on UX. So I was just watching that recording and I realized that, oh yeah, we really don't have it. So I just added that right now.
There was another, if I may.
Go ahead, Divya.
Yeah, there was another thing I realized on the CAPI. There was an issue regarding the age of the running controllers. I was also thinking maybe adding that issue, maybe once experimenting like doing this. That was done on the CAPI side, and I think it is missing in almost all the providers. So something on the similar lines.
Sorry, did you say age of the controller?
Yes, yes. So when we do cluster CTL, okay, I'll point you to it. I don't really remember. It's been a week. Let me point you to it. Yeah. Meanwhile,
Maybe we
cluster-
can talk about it in Slack. I think that would
Yes.
be easier, right? Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, Yasin, go ahead.
Yeah, so for printer columns, if I recall, we had a community member open a PR a while ago, Saga, right? And like I think it fell through, but if I recall, we had a good consensus around which fields we wanted to print. So RT, like if you want, you can take a look at that PR. We can send it on the cluster API vSphere Kate's channel, and then we can just probably at least have those fields and see if like we want to add more.
I think, yeah, I guess if I'm not wrong, that PR did get merged, or like a similar PR. I created a similar PR for the 0.8 release line. So just kind of like do take a look if that was merged, or if I'm just like totally wrong and not remembering that correctly. But yeah, that could also give you an idea of like what exactly that PR was about. And yeah, like Yasin said, I'll post a link to the earlier PR in the Slack channel itself, and we can discuss on that more.
Sounds good.
All right, awesome. I guess that's pretty much it for the issues. Let me quickly go and see what the pull requests are. I think August 25, 26. Cool. Okay. So this, I think, yeah, I've seen this one. This is around bumping the dependencies. So yeah, I'll take a look at this. And I think, Yasin, correct me if I'm wrong, this should be, we should be able to merge this and merge this in the main branch, and then that can be V1 beta 1, or that is required for V1 beta 1, right?
Yeah, so for this is for V1 beta 1. We didn't, yeah, for now, like as long as we're not making breaking changes such as add-in types, we're not opening like the release 08 branch. But as soon as the PRs for add-in types and things like that get in, then we have to start opening back the release branch. In fact, there's also, can you add, Sagar, quickly a hold on this one? I want to make sure that like this bump isn't gonna impact is not gonna impact the release 08 branch before we cut it. Because if we merge it now and then just start the new branch, it is gonna have the controller runtime bump. I still want to go through the release notes to see if it is just bug fixes that we're getting in.
Yeah, if you want, I can take a look at that too.
Yep, sure.
Yeah.
If it is only bug fixes, then we can take it in even for release 08. But if not, then like let's just get it for let's create the release 08 branch and gets this one in.
Okay, makes sense. All right, the other one, this is currently under work. I don't know if you want to talk about it, Aarti. Is it in a state to be talked about, or we can talk about it next time? That's okay.
No, it's I think I would prefer talking about it in the next meeting.
Great, good, no problem. And update CAPV contract version chart. I am so glad that this is being changed. So yeah, this is about updating our documentation. So yeah, I think I'll take a look at this. This was long pending.
And this one was long due.
Yeah. Great.
I probably also, like, since we're doing this, I probably need to reach out to Travis so that he builds out some of the latest community Kubernetes versions.
Okay. I think maybe I'll add an action item after the meeting gets done, but I guess like these were the only 3 new PRs. Yes, let me see if anything else was added in the agenda. Okay, awesome. I think, does anybody else have any PRs that they would, or issues that they would want to call out specifically or talk about? Right. Cool. So then we can move to the topics of discussion. Rishi?
Yeah, I just wanted to broadcast to the community that I've been working on a proposal these past days for adding support for the supervisor APIs and the supervisor cluster in CAPV. So the proposal is going to be out tomorrow, and the TLDR of the plan is that we're introducing a new API group where we're going to have like vSphere machine API, vSphere cluster API, and vSphere machine template API in a different shape and form, so that we're able to support supervisor-based services such as like talking to VM operator, talking to network operator. This is going to help us in a way where basically we don't have to use the GoVMami layer and the GoVMami SDK, but rather just create CRDs to create virtual machines. So yeah, this is probably going to get open tomorrow. So I'm going to also link it in the agenda so that people who watch either watch the recording or are on the meeting and want to take a look at it. Yeah, and also going to post it on the Slack channel.
Okay, Scott.
Yeah, just about that, Yassine, does that mean that it's going to change the minimal version of vSphere to 6 to 7, or will the GoVMami still be continuing that approach in order to support 6.7U3?
So we're like the plan is to have 2 API groups. Basically, one API group that is going to host the resources of the Vim-based APIs, and one API group to host the supervisor-based APIs. This is going to lead to us releasing 2 infrastructure YAMLs, and it's up to you as a user to choose whichever you want to install. Is it the supervisor-based one? Is it the Vim-based one? But we're still going to support like 6.7, the current APIs.
Okay, so it's just going to be another one, and that'll be a flavor in the end?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry for that. Anything else around the supervisor support? I've added this placeholder, so you've seen like when we get time tomorrow. Just please go ahead and update the docs.
Thanks.
Anything else? I guess we are out of discussion items. Is there anything that anybody wants to talk about before we close out for today? Right, then once, twice. Cool. I guess thank you all for attending. Hey, Scott, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, no, sorry. I just realized we had talked about this a few times ago, and then it was moving forwards and then stopped again. I was wondering, you know, what's going on with the PR for the ability to assign tags to virtual machines, and if that's something that may be able to get merged for V1 Beta 1. Not sure. I know that it had been worked on. That things have been updated and rebased, but I'm not sure what the current status is.
See.
So for the PR, I think like Gab did a pass last month. But aside of that, like I think the PR needs to get rebased. And I know that probably it should be in a good shape. So I'll try to reach out to Alexander, get it rebased, and we can do a final pass on it. If I recall correctly, like the change is pretty much additional, so it shouldn't be breaking anything.
Yeah.
We want to, do we want to make sure that that gets included before we, or should that be included in the V1 beta 1 list of issues?
So I'd like to reach out to Alexander first to see how much bandwidth he has. I know that that PR has been open for a while. It got reworked, but like if he's okay and is able to rebase it, then we can certainly include it in V1 beta 1.
Awesome.
All right. That's about it. If there's nothing else, then thank you folks for attending and see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks,
Bye,
y'all.
everyone.
Take care. Bye.
Right.